Future value typically means the value of the annuity at the end of the period. Principal value means at the beginning of the period. Except in this case, it's sort of neither. The reason being is extra payment here.
So the example you gave last class on Friday was with the Lamborghini, so that one was...
That was the principal value, yes.
The principal is at the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah. And this is sort of the combination of principal and future. That's why I did this. Because for this annuity, you have to calculate the future value. For this annuity, you have to calculate the principal value, right? Except that both of them have that difference that there is a payment at time 0. In the same case here, there is an extra payment here, right? Does that make sense? So that's why I was trying to show you that you should not think in terms of F&P. You should just simply think in terms of the compound interest formula. But then I don't know, it seems that's confusing. Why is it confusing? Can you tell me? Why is it confusing to just not think in terms of F&P, but just compute what it is using compound interest?
That takes more steps.
Takes more steps. But I mean, you have to work with me. You have to tell me how to explain things to you in a way you really explain. My goal is not to help you to solve problems, okay? That's never my goal. My goal is not to teach you F&P and then you give you a problem you can solve and you go home happy, right? I just want to make sure you understand. Or really, I don't even know if you remember from transport. What's the goal when I teach? Sorry? What's the only goal when I teach?
Make us laugh.
Oh, that's actually goal number 1. Yes. What's goal number 2? What's my only goal when I teach? Those of you from transport, I say this like 50 times in the class. To make you think. Right?
Oh, yeah. I
forgot. Sorry?
It was like 2.5 years ago.
So work with me. Tell me, what should I do? Should I just... I'm happy to explain to you, but then you have to forget this whole idea of just always using F&P. Is that okay? Yes? So let's just go back and let's just put this term.
Oh, no, let's just do it. No. Let's start from 0, do it, and then flip the board
If
up.
you don't put that first one,
No.
the bank's not going to give you interest in that first one. So put some money in the beginning to get interest at least.
What, like a penny?
Well, it's a form of interest.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'm going to just do it like this. In the homework, I will give you something where there's something at 0. Okay? Is that a good resolution? Sure. Yeah. So in the class, that's the easy one. Okay. So in this case, yes, you could use the future value formula. Okay? The future value formula, remember, is BF is A annuity 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. Okay? Wait, what is n?
156.
Sorry? What are we missing? Parentheses, yeah. All right, so then it's easy. You look at A. So now that is the future value of this annuity at this point in time, where n is now straightforward, n is 156. Now, of course, the question is, what should this be equal to, right? So this should be equal to the principal value of this annuity. Right? Does that make sense? Except, again, remember, the principal of the annuity basically does not take this into account, this payment. Right? So here we have no choice. We have to take that payment somehow into account. So we can say this equals to 30 plus the principal value of the rest of the 4. Or you can just add it. 30 times 1 plus I effective to the power minus 1 plus 30, 1 plus I effective to the power minus 2 plus 30, 1 plus I effective to the power minus 3 plus finally 30, 1 plus I effective to the power minus 4. Right? Does it make sense?
That's it?
Yeah. And then let's calculate I effective. So I effective is 1 plus I nominal, which is 3%, right? 6%, 1200 to power n minus 1 equals to I effective. Can you please give me I effective?
6.167.
Oh, so 6.1?
Yeah.
6.17? Sorry, 6.17%. Okay, so put this number here, and let's figure out what this principal value of this annuity is. Those of you who already calculated this, what does this come to?
133,000.
What was that you had?
Okay, so 133.
515.
So you can see 30 times 5 will be 150. But this is not 150 because, of course, there was interest, right? Because this money is paid here, 30 was paid here, it was worth less at this point in time. So that's 133,550. Okay, so now can you put I? So what's the value of I? I is going to be 6 over 1200. Can you calculate A? Okay, so A is 567. Okay? So I think all of you are good on the concept, but I think a lot of you are still having the trouble of using geometric progression to sum. So I'm telling you already, I'm going to give you a homework problem where you will need to take this into account somehow. And then of course in the exam too, be ready for something like that. You cannot just use simply F and P. You have to know what you're doing. Okay, yeah.
What was N?
N is the number of terms. 156.
156.